2022 has already seen some amazing game releases, and I would argue that it already has been better than 2021 as a whole. But there are of course many months left this year, especially the fall seems to be pretty huge. So in this video I want to run down all the big games that are still coming this year, share the latest updates, release dates, and of course talk about some recent rumors. Would be awesome if you could leave a like if you enjoy these Sunday videos, and totally subscribe, because every Sunday I drop a big video like this going over recent leaks and news. A big surprise in 2019 was A Plague Tale: Innocence, a game about a brother and sister who are fleeing from French soldiers and a lot of rats of course during the 100-year war between England and France. Now 3 years later we're getting the sequel with way more varied looking locations, and it also looks way better in this PS5 trailer, but it also gives the main character Amicia a crossbow with way more combat options. In the first game we mostly had to hide from enemies and sneak past them, but now thanks to the leaked trophy list for the sequel, we also know that there will be combat skills to unlock. And yeah, normally trophies leak close to launch, with the latest rumor being, thanks to the Microsoft Store, that the game will release on June 17th. So that's pretty soon. Also good to note is that the game is launching on Xbox Game Pass day 1. Now let's go to the PlayStation side, where the biggest game this year will totally be God of War Ragnarok, if it still launches in 2022. Because maybe you saw it, but on April 20th, the 4-year anniversary of God of War 2018, Quarry shared a video on Twitter talking about how they're not ready to show off more of the sequel yet, but that they will do so the moment they got something ready. Now it's totally not uncommon for Sony games to wait till the final months before release to build up the extra hype after the initial reveal. We for example learned the God of War 2018 release date 3 months before it came out, so anything can really happen. And the first trailer already looked great with cool new abilities for Kratos, like using the Blades of Chaos as a grappling hook. We saw multiple shields we can use now, and Atreus pulls off some pretty cool new abilities. And we also learned that we will be able to travel to realms that were first off limits, like Svartalfheim, and I think the trailer was probably from the first few hours of the game. I really hope that when we see it again, they can surprise us though, and show that God of War Ragnarok is more than a sequel that seems to play it safe. And high chance that it will battle it out against the big Microsoft exclusive Starfield in the November 2022 window. This is the first big single-player Bethesda Game Studios RPG since Fallout 4, which by the way the most successful Bethesda game ever, surpassing Skyrim. So even if Starfield comes close to that, it will already be a big success. Right now though it's hard to know, because we only have promises by Bethesda that this for example will be a Han Solo simulator, NASA meets Indiana Jones, or Skyrim in space. But yeah, we of course heard the promises from Bethesda before.
It allows us to have 16 times the detail. Allows us to have 16 times the detail. Allows us to have 16 times the detail. To have 16 times the detail.
So I'm gonna use a wait and see approach. They did reveal Vasco, our robot companion, who will be by our side as we travel and explore the different planets, and next to that we got some pretty cool looking concept art. June will be interesting though, because that is likely when we get the first gameplay during the Xbox showcase, and this might be the first Bethesda RPG that looks great right out of the box, as it's an Xbox Series and PC only title. Now fingers crossed that this means less bugs as well. It will be really interesting to see if Bethesda still has it after Fallout 76. They have to get this one right, so while it still seems to be on track for a November 11th release, I can totally see them delay it to make sure the polish is there at launch. But there are totally many games that I don't see being delayed. One of them is Saints Row, because it was actually already delayed by 6 months to August 23rd to give the game more polish. And I'm not sure if you saw the new customization trailer they just dropped. Well, if every system in the game has that much depth or polish, this could actually turn out better than expected. Don't get me wrong, I really want this game to succeed. I think the new soundtrack Santo Ileso location, which is located in the American Southwest. It looks pretty cool, so next to the city streets where we have a cool base, we also get this awesome desert to explore with one of the 80 vehicles. We can, by the way, customize as well. It looks pretty deep. There are also a ton of weapons, including a guitar case as a rocket launcher. Why not? Like, this will be why I boot up Saints Row, for the open world mayhem and a ton of things I can collect and customize. I'm just not sure about the story and the side characters yet. One thing I know for sure is that my character will at least look really cool. So next to these $60 or $70 games, big AAA free-to-play games will also be more common in 2022 after the success of Warzone and Apex Legends. Ubisoft has multiple of these free console and PC games in the works, and they're likely going to launch 2 of them this year, with Roller Champions being up first, as they just announced that it went gold, which is pretty unusual for a free game. I did like the demo I got to play at E3 2019. I'm curious how much has changed, but I'm also curious if it can find a bigger audience than Riders Republic that seems mostly forgotten. Although if I had to pick one upcoming free Ubisoft game, it will totally be The Division Heartland, which will give you the option to farm in a PvE only area to then get ready for the special PvPvE map similar to the Dark Zone. I already went over the leaked screenshots and information in a previous video. I will link to that one in the video description, but yeah, this game should be available this year. Before we look at more full price games, I want to shout out Arc Raiders, created by ex-Battlefield developers. It's focused on co-op play, whereas the human faction we have to bring down small and also enormous mechanical robots that drop in from orbit. I like the focus on movement, as we can do an impressive far jump to drop a bomb on a bigger spider machine. The graphics look pretty solid too, so I'll be keeping an eye on this one. I'm still not sure about Midnight Suns though. This is the brand new Marvel strategy game by the XCOM creators, and that final part does make me hopeful, because the XCOM games are of course really solid. We get to create our own superhero and pick from 40 different superpowers, next to visual customization options of course. We also get to control a team of Marvel heroes, including X-Men, on the turn-based battlefield to take out the demons led by the main villain Lilith. Next to the pretty deep combat, we also have a home base where in between fights you can interact with the different characters to get to know them better. I think you can even do missions for them to earn special rewards. So yeah, I think it could be really cool, but I have to see more. There's no official date yet, only that it will still launch this year. A game that on paper is more imminent is Redfall, announced last year during the Xbox showcase with only a cinematic trailer and a summer 2022 window. In that first trailer, we also saw the 4 playable characters with of course their own look and abilities. It's all pretty similar to Borderlands, and while we do not really have official gameplay details yet, leaks from last year suggested that we will also be chasing loot and upgrade our characters in a similar Borderlands style way. Also, just like the Gearbox game, you can play Redfall alone or battle the hordes of vampires with up to 4 players. A scientific experiment failed, which caused these evil creatures, but this also inspired a cult of worshippers, so there will be humans to battle too. But yeah, this trailer is all we got right now. The GeForce Now leak headed for June 20th, but high chance that it will be later, with rumors about a delay already going around as well. I'll be keeping an eye on it though. It's made by the Arcane Awesome team behind Prey, so I do have high hopes. Another drop-in, drop-out co-op game coming later this year is Gotham Knights. You can play this one with up to 2 players, and as you might know, we have an official release date, October 25th. And after seeing the Batman movie, I'm totally down for an Arkham type game. Good to note is that it's not set in the Rocksteady Arkham universe. Instead, the game will tell the story of Robin, Nightwing, Batgirl and Red Hood. We can pick to play one of these characters, by the way. And at the start of the game, we learn that Batman is dead, so we have to take on the familiar villains and also the Court of Owls, which finally gets a proper feature in a game. There's an open world Gotham City to explore. It looks great. I'm totally excited. And also in October is Forspoken, another delayed game, because while the trailers always looked very interesting, we play Ray Holland, an ordinary woman who suddenly is transported from New York to a magical realm. where in this realm she can use magical abilities thanks to a very weird bracelet. It's also open world. I always describe it as Infamous thanks to the movement and abilities, and Final Fantasy because of the NPCs and JRPG type creatures. I really hope the extra polish thanks to the delay will help the game, because the preview footage they showed at the end of last year did not look good at all. Still though, if they patch it up, I am worried that this PS5 exclusive will be drowned by the other titles likely coming out around that time. Like Hogwarts Legacy, the state of play they showed looked incredible with the familiar areas, halls and secrets we can find inside school as well. But not only Hogwarts itself, there also is seemingly a large space to explore beyond the walls, which got me really excited. We can create our own character that starts Hogwarts in their 5th year for a still unknown reason, although it seems to be tied to a form of ancient magic. We will likely uncover that during the main story, but there will also be a ton of other activities to partake in, like small mini games. We got the Room of Requirements, where we can craft items and also keep magical creatures we come across in the world. I'm personally really looking forward to dueling other students, which will likely come in handy during the many outdoor combat encounters. I really want to feel this game. I want to play it to see how the battles play out, but I do think that if you master the different combinations and spells, that it can be very fulfilling to take out the enemies without them being able to do anything back. I would not be surprised if this game becomes as big or even bigger than Elden Ring in terms of sales when it finally comes out in likely November. Ubisoft's big bet for this year is Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. After 13 years, we finally get the sequel to one of the biggest movies of all time, and I think the fantasy world is really perfect for an open world game. The trailer already hinted at co-op and first-person gameplay, and first-person gameplay is confirmed, so I would not be surprised if it kinda feels like Far Cry Primal. Yes, we can fly a Banshee as well, and thanks to this being next-gen only and having fast render times, the world should remain beautiful even if we go through it pretty fast on the back of a mount. The fact that it's only on Xbox Series, PS5 and PC should also mean better AI, where characters respond to the weather or to your current progression in the story. I said it multiple times, but I'm curious what a first next-gen open world Ubisoft game will be like, and we will find that out at the end of this year. And yes, there are totally some other 2022 games that I think are worth mentioning. One of them is Nightinggale, a free survival game by ex-Dragon Age developers. I think it looks pretty solid. This is the Game Awards trailer. The art style is very distinct. Love the different looking areas. We also got Steelrising, the brand new game from the creators behind Redfall, which was kind of a surprise a few years back. This game is quite different though. It's more a Souls-like type experience, more of an action RPG, focused of course on managing your stamina, fighting some crazy bosses instead of the dialogue and choices. It's set during the French Revolution in the 18th century, but with an army of clockwork robots. So, pretty cool twist. We'll keep an eye on it. We also got MultiVersus, which basically Smash Bros. With Warner characters like Batman, Bugs Bunny, Arya Stark, Tom and Jerry, and way more. And they will of course add more of these characters post-launch. And in a previous Sunday video, I already mentioned the Quarry, which is the spiritual successor to Until Dawn, with like the 2K funding. So, seems like Supermassive is able to make a game that hopefully lives up to the high quality bar that Until Dawn set as one of the early PS4 exclusives. This one is coming on June 10th, so pretty soon. Of course, I'm curious, which game are you looking forward to in 2022? And you have to remember that it's probably not all of them. Like, these are the biggest games that are announced. Of course, if I missed any, let me know in the comments down below. I usually don't really cover Nintendo games because I always think it's like for a different audience. But yeah, of course, if you have a Switch, there are quite a lot of games coming to that platform as well. But for example, this week, Gearbox announced Tales from the Borderlands 2, which is still launching this year. We only got this tweet and a teaser image. But yeah, it seems like more games are getting announced, of course, as we're getting closer to the summer of games, the Summer Game Fest, the regular E3 period. So high chance that the sort of already pretty crowded holiday will be filled even more with Assassin's Creed Rift maybe. Resident Evil 4 Remake is rumored. Dragon's Dogma 2 is something Capcom still wants to do. And a Last of Us remake from Sony could still be in the cards. So yeah, high chance that during these next few months we will learn about way more games, and I will do a big video on big unannounced games that I think we will see announced during these next few months. So subscribe for that and way more Sunday videos. I also did a Sunday video on Jedi Fallen Order 2, which is a game we might see in a month from now during the Star Wars celebration. Exciting times ahead. Subscribe to miss nothing. A like on the video would really help me out. And check out the Jedi Fallen Order 2 video by clicking on the screen. For now, I will speak to you soon. Goodbye!